Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit is happy here, back again with Fate Unlimited Blade Works. We're on episode 9 of season 2, and in the last couple of episodes we have essentially come to a head between Archer and Shiro now. So you know, we're getting a lot of the sort of like revelations, but I guess stuff that I've kind of already determined through you know, the previous episodes and things like that, of like obviously Shiro being Archer just from the past and whatnot. But we're getting like all of these things confirmed. Like they're all just, you know, I mean, this episode's called Answer, and then the episode 7 was called Idealism's End, the Answer as well. So I mean, we've got multiple answers going on. So yeah, we've come out ahead like between those two. They're in the middle of a battle right now. End of last episode was great. That whole fucking sequence at the end was fucking 10 out of 10. I loved that. I loved all of that. It was great. So yeah, the whole idea of Shiro basically healing, quick healing and stuff, and this was something that actually did happen like earlier on in the series. I believe it was it this? What was it? I think it was when he got attacked by Lancer. Right? No, it wasn't Lancer. No, it was somewhere after. It was after he got slashed across the back by Archer the first time, right? I think that was what it was, and he ended up healing like really quickly. And Saber was like, "What's all this about?" So this is relating to the whole Saber with her scabbards type deal. Seeing as Kiritsugu obviously had Saber, the same person as his servant in Zero. He sort of passed that on to Shiro. I don't know, in like I'm still a bit confused into what way, because the way Archer explained it was he like, it was almost like he implanted the scabbard within Shiro, and so if it's somehow a part of him, that is what he used as the catalyst to summon Saber, right? That one, when he summoned her. So I guess it all makes sense. I just don't know in what degree the scabbard is actually there, whether it's like being manipulated by magic or something as a way to just be like implanted in Shiro, similar to the way like the Lesser Grail kind of works. I don't know if that's the case or whatnot, but yeah, we're in the midst of that. Lancer was fucking amazing last episode, absolute legend. By basically doing all of that, he's become my favorite servant this Grail War. He was so good. So he ended up killing Kire, which was oh, it was just nice to see. Like, just anytime Kire has a look of like shock on his face, it's so beautiful to see, because it rarely. Kire has this sort of innate ability to just be like sort of like in control all the time, so nothing really phases him. But when things actually do, because it's so like few and far between, it's so juicy. I love it. So yeah, Kire died, and Lancer fucking set off to burn himself along with Kire, which was, yeah, just an awesome way to go. I love that. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. We're gonna get in episode 9 and see where this fight takes us. So yeah, let's go. Fuck, okay, episode 9. Shitting hell. Oh, man. God, he so deserves it as well, you know. Oh, man. Damn. Fuck. That was nasty, but fuck, did he... if he didn't deserve it, he fucking did. Okay, so... at the very beginning there, we had Archer and Shiro. Saber pointing out that they were beginning to merge. So yeah, like the whole thing of like Shiro. I don't know if that was accelerated by the fact that they were in the reality marble or whatnot. You know what I mean? Because beforehand, Shiro was like, the first time they entered it, Shiro had pointed out that, oh, he can see whilst in here. Like he's sort of like he's enhanced while he's in there. So I'm thinking that, you know, when Archer purposely put them in there, I can't help but feel like maybe he fucked himself over because of that. I mean, in the end, it worked out kind of Archer kind of, he hesitated, right? I think he hesitated for the slight second and then just sort of accepted. I think that's maybe what it must have been, what it was, because when Shiro was running up to him and Archer had his sword up like that, ready to, you know, stab him from the top, I think when it was flashbacking to, like, with Kiritsugu and whatnot, I believe that was Archer saying that. It wasn't Shiro. Like, that wasn't a flashback for, like, Shiro to say it. I think it was Archer looking back at it, you know? Mixture of a lot of things. Like, I think maybe there was acceptance, hesitation, and then, you know, I feel like on a level as well, Archer just knowing, because he is Shiro, he knows that, you know, you're not gonna break his spirit. So, you know, I think that there was a mixture of all of that, and kind of just Archer having to kind of accept that it's just not, you're not gonna deter him. And interesting enough as well, like, you know, Archer was already, like, not just in a battle against Shiro himself, he was also in, like, a battle of time as well, because, you know what I mean, he was all the mana, like, that he wasn't getting from a master or anything like that. Like, it was starting to dwindle and stuff, so he was also in a race against that. And the damage that he puts out on Shiro gets healed by the scabbard and whatnot, with Saber being there. So, you know, I think there's a lot of, like, sort of different a lot of reasons that sort of built up into one, like, sort of, like, answer for him in the end, where it was just like, you know what I mean, he's the one fighting a losing battle. It's not Shiro fighting the losing battle, even though, you know, one-on-one, like, their abilities are far between. Archer's clearly obviously the more experienced one, and I mean, he even said, like, halfway through, was like, why, you know, like why am I holding back? Like, I would just need to take a few steps back and then, I don't know, pull out that fucking pull out maybe, like, the bow. I think that's what he was referring to, like, using the bow instead of, like, going up, like, in hand-to-hand combat. You know, if he was to use that, Shiro wouldn't be able to dodge it, I guess. But so I think, you know, I mentioned, like, halfway through the battle that, you know, it's almost like a battle of, because it's a fight with yourself. I kind of take it as, like, it's almost like a fight in your head, like, where you the things you believe in versus the stuff that you know is going to happen that completely contradicts those beliefs. So it's almost like just a fight with yourself in your head to you know, for the one that, like, comes out on top, like, you wanting to believe versus not. You know, that it's like belief over maybe, I don't know, well, fact in a way. It's tough to say a fact from Shiro's point of view, because Shiro in current time hasn't got to that point. And there are things that, you know, that can always happen in the future that may dictate something different happens. Although, you know, I don't think that is the case for what they are fighting about. They are fighting about ideals about, you know, living for others, you know what I mean? And you know, and basically living your life like that. It's something that, you know, isn't, you can't really avoid becoming Archer at that point, you know what I mean? So, you know, to say, like, fact, I think is right. But yeah, like, I liken it to, like, a sort of a battle in your head, like, as opposed to, like, him fighting, like, a physical representation of himself. Obviously that's what we're saying, but I see it more as, like, a battle of, like, in your own mind. I also like the fact that and I didn't pick up on this before because I don't know, I guess I'm just, like, so intrigued, I never really noticed, but the thing that really pointed out was I think when something clicked, and I think the interesting thing about Archer is the fact that his noble phantasm, when he was explaining it like a few episodes ago, that his noble phantasm is this world. You know what I mean? So his world is... I think that's what's great about that one. Like this reality marble and noble phantasm is that it's somewhat interchangeable. Like, almost like, again, with the mind thing, the way that Archer sees something, like the way that he thinks about things, is sort of represented in the world in real time, and I think that's what the cogs meant. So there was one point during the showdown where I think something must have changed in Archer's mindset, or something had clicked at one point when the cogs like stopped. Because there was a moment where both cogs, like on either side of Shiro, kind of like come to a standstill, and I kind of get the feeling, and this goes hand in hand with when Shiro, when he has a little speech, and then like it all like builds up and like it's like a climax thing, and then you see like the foggy sort of like grey like backdrop of the world kind of opens up, and it ends up being like a bright blue sky. And I think it sort of all merges in with the idea that Shiro and Archer are merging, not just with Shiro like becoming more adept at skills and whatnot, but also like a merging of the minds. And I think maybe that's what it was in the end. It wasn't just a fact they were merging as a like, you know, now they both like have like, now Shiro has attained like the same amount of prowess with combat abilities that Archer has, but I think it's a merging of like literally everything, like a merging of them two as a whole, you know what I mean? So it almost it's funny, those two like coming together, not just like with a clash of swords, but also like coming together as a sort of like you know, agreeing with each other. And I don't even necessarily think it's more Archer agreeing more so than it is just kind of like him accepting that this is the way it's going to be, you know what I mean? I don't think he can change his mind. You know, so yeah, again, like with Shiro sort of saying that he understands that reality marble and he sort of works better within it, like I think because it's also affected by Shiro as much as it is affected by Archer, or at least over time, the longer Shiro was in there, it sort of like became akin to him as much as it was for Archer, you know what I mean? Like I said, I think it was a case of both of them merging as a whole, as opposed to just combat abilities and stuff like that, you know? So that was, yeah, I enjoyed all of that. But yeah, like the whole cogs thing, like, I don't know, it's like, it makes sense because it's time, right? Like the cogs of time, it like, you know what I mean? I never really had a look at that sort of symbolism before. I recognize that the cogs were there, but for some reason I never sort of delved into it at all, because I think I was probably getting like a lot of answers at that point, so that was kind of like in the background. It's just a symbolism thing, but you know, it makes you know, it makes all the sense. So yeah, so Archer got back. I'm not even sure, like, the thing that like obviously makes me, aside from like I think the obvious clear hesitation that Archer did have, like sort of at the end there when he accepted it, you know, it's more about his mindset, where I was like, yeah, he has accepted it after the fact. So when they came out of the reality marble and Archer was like, yeah, I lost, I don't know if that attack would have killed him off, really. I mean, I think he probably would have been fine, but he would just have to wait out his time for however much mana he's got left, however much time he's got left without a master being there to sort of anchor him to the world, or the physical plane. But yeah, of course Gilgamesh was, I mean, he had to be somewhere, right? I mean, I was a bit confused, like, over, like, the episode 8 and stuff, and I'm like, well, fucking, so he wasn't here to stop Kira being killed. He wasn't there for Shinji. Where else would he be at this moment in time that is more important than in that building? Because that's literally where everything is taking place. So I thought he would have had to have been there, but I was confused because I thought he would have at least been there for Shinji or Kira at some point, and he wasn't. And I think it's probably just going along with Gilgamesh's sort of plan. I was saying, like, I was surprised that Gilgamesh didn't do anything to stop what happened to Kirei and whatnot, but you know, when you think about it, it does make sense. Like, Gilgamesh doesn't see Kirei as, like, I don't think he sees him as a friend, more as, like, he just sees it as something, oh, he's got an entertaining sort of, like, that he's entertaining for Gilgamesh, right? Because of how fucking just chaotic he is. You know, it's not boring around the guy, but Gilgamesh doesn't exactly owe Kirei anything, you know what I mean? And the way Gilgamesh is, he still thinks, like, of course he thinks he's above the world. He thinks he's above everyone else, and that includes Kirei, like, well above him. And if he's going along with this whole idea to eradicate humanity, survival of the fittest and whatnot, well, if Kirei is unable to fucking, you know, if he's going to get done in like that, then as far as Gilgamesh is concerned, oh well, he wasn't cut out for it then. So yeah, I mean, I remember in Zero when the Grail essentially opened up and just let loose like a bloody tsunami of blood. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Gilgamesh got caught like directly underneath it. And he says that he understands it now. I'm not sure that he means like he got that through, like, you know, it's not particularly like he got like a bunch of information because he was in there. Like, he wasn't given information by whatever it was, the spirit of the Grail, whatever the fuck. I think what he just saw was he saw what could have happened at that point. He saw what happened at that point, and then he saw that, you know, that he could use that as a weapon to destroy humanity. Although saying destroying humanity is kind of like the wrong sort of phrase. I think he just, you know, sort of separate the strong from the weak. I think that, you know, and then those who are strong can serve under me, and then that'll be it. I'll be the new world that he rules over. So yeah, absolutely nuts. I love the fact that Saber refers to Gilgamesh as Archer. Like, there's something so simple about it, but you'd never think about it, because, I mean, I was sitting there and I was like, fuck, yeah, the last time these two saw each other was at the end of Zero. And I remember Gilgamesh being like wanting Saber to be his wife, right? So yeah, that was a mad reunion. And then just hearing Saber like refer like, Archer, what are you doing here? Like, it's something you don't even think about, because you're kind of thinking about, like, well, Archer just died, right? The Archer of this Holy Grail war. Technically, Gilgamesh isn't Archer anymore. You know what I mean? He's like he's a fully fledged mortal in this realm now. Like, he's actually like a pure person at this point. But I just like that sort of continuity. As simple as it is, like, it caught me off guard, because I never thought like that's how she would refer to him as. You know what I mean? But so yeah, I really like that. That was cool. So yeah, and then he points out, like, Gilgamesh points out, is like, you know, they created this Grail, and the whole story goes is that it's the Grail that allows all of this to happen, when in reality it's not. It's what fills the Grail which allows it. So yeah, I mean, I knew that was the case. I knew that, you know, in order for like the sort of Grail to do its magical fucking, you know, wish granting sort of thing, that it needs sacrifices in order to do it. So I already knew that was the case. But it's sort of like the way of Gilgamesh looking at it, that it's not the Grail itself, but the thing that fills it, that allows shit to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that I think, because you know that it's sacrifices and whatnot, like, I think, you know, everyone that has watched this would kind of understand that before he had said it, that, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of how it works. That it's so, I think it's so, like, maybe in plain sight, that you don't really think about it all that much. So like, it's so obvious that it's like hidden in plain sight kind of thing. that you'd think that so you can kind of understand that maybe like servants wouldn't really understand that, but you'd think that if they were smart enough that they would get it, but they kind of don't. So so yeah, but I mean, Saber's realization that a servant can't handle the Grail, that's it, you know what I mean, it's not for them to handle is nuts. So the idea is that whoever is the winning whoever is the sort of, I guess, the winning servant has it bestowed upon them, like they become mortal, right? So at that point, like at this point, Gilgamesh can get the Grail, right? Because he's not a servant anymore. I mean, that's nuts, because then at that point, like, if a servant really wants the Grail, that means they have to win once and then win again. They have to win twice. So yeah, that's pretty nuts. But that's just, he's just talking about. I mean, the interesting thing is that Gilgamesh talks about it as the sacrifice of 6 servants, whereas I'm pretty sure it's the sacrifice of all the servants in order to access the root, right? I'm pretty sure that's the thing. So I've got to assume that Gilgamesh doesn't even know that much. As much as he like says that like I completely understand the Grail now, I'm still kind of like, well, he probably doesn't know the ins and he probably doesn't know everything. You know what I mean? He knows you know, he knows as much as he said, but he doesn't know anything beyond that. And yeah, so yeah, very interesting stuff. And then using Shinji as a sacrifice for the Grail. I'm not gonna lie, once again, when he says when they were talking about how, well, what we're gonna do now because we don't have Rin anymore. In my head, I was like, they're gonna say Sakura, aren't they? Like honestly, every episode, I try to fit a reason why Sakura will be a part of it. But I guess she just had her moment after episode, like episode 7 or 8 or whenever the last time was we saw her in Unlimited Blade Works. That was it. You know what I mean? Because it is sort of like, I mean, at this point, I should really understand. I'm just scared that like I'm not going to pick up on the fact that Sakura would end up being a part of something in the end, and I'll be like, for fuck's sake, I knew I should have said something and I didn't. You know what I mean? But I'm aware that, you know, the shit, because of the nature of you know, visual novels and different routes and stuff like that, that you don't have to have everything in on one story. You know what I mean? So you know, as far as I'm aware, what people have told me is that Sakura's is Heaven's Field, and that's what that is. So yeah, that is. But yeah, you use Shinji as the sacrifice for the Grail, and yeah, that was as brutal as it fucking looked. He deserved it, didn't he, the fucker? So yeah. So that is all. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. Discord. If you need any information regarding any of my content, or you just want to come talk to me on the community, feel free to go over into my Discord. Link is in the description. SirMonkeySuit.com, my website, all my content is over there. You can also become a member and access the forums. There's like reaction recommendations page there, which you can put in your shows, so they get put into a pool for the next poll. It'll be whatever I react to. And Discord, no, not Discord, no, I've literally just said that, and Patreon. So yeah, I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, I would very much appreciate it. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access, that's $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early. And for Fate, whilst, well, I mean, it's coming to an end, but we did have this show on 4 episodes every week, 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday. But there will be another show, once this is out on YouTube, there'll be another show that is... that has 4 episodes a week, so just make sure you check over to see what that is. If you're interested, then you can come in early access to your Patreon. $10 a month, that is the full length. That gives you access to my full length library. Everything I react to gets a full length. $15 is the exclusive tier patron tier. Yeah, that gives you access to a bonus show, which is currently 7 Deadly Sins. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go over there and watch my reaction to that. $50, that's the elite tier. Every time you pay $50, you've got a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It will go at the back of the list by about 7 or 8 shows. Might take a while to get round to it, but I will do eventually. But if you don't want to wait that long, you want your show to be reacted to next, and you want to get God tier, which is $100. But that is all, so thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.